Hey folks, it's Rob and welcome back. We're continuing our series today on the Night of the Living Dead. Um, I'm hoping you're enjoying this series. I am. Uh, it occurs to me previously that I functionally skipped reading the description for the uh, trades ward because I went directly to the taxidermist shop without actually going to the trades ward section from the page from the 86 A sorry 82A. So which I still have open in front of me in the book here, but I wanted to make sure I got this out of the way, and then we'll proceed back to that. Well, actually, from 82A, I think we're just going to select a new ward to go to instead of reading the whole freaking thing again. So, one of the most arbitrary divisions of the city's districts, Trade Ward, Trades Ward happens to be a cross section of Waterdeep's light trade and commerce. Cobblers, swordsmiths, bowyers, scribes, butchers, metalworkers, wicker workers, textile workers, and workers of all respectable trades live and practice here. Dimly you recall meeting many interesting people in this area. There were you buying armor or weapons, worshipping at the plinth, the many-leveled temple of all faiths, or simply passing time at Virgin Square, where novices and veteran fighters sit waiting for jobs. You shake away the recollection. It cannot matter now. The Cerebicule sniffs out just one place of interest in Trades Ward, a taxidermist shop, 90A. The shrunken head seems sure this humble place holds a piece of the staff. If you don't want to visit the taxidermist, return to 82A and choose again. Now, that's what we're going to do, but instead of me bringing it up on the thing, uh, which I mean I could do, but we're just going to scroll there to go and read out these options from the book. Castle Ward is 41A. We haven't been there. Dock Ward, we haven't been there. It's 25C. The North Ward, 148B. Have not been there. C Ward, 78B. Also not there. Southern Ward, 71A. Trades Ward is where we have been, 30C. Waterdeep Harbor, 159F. And the surrounding countryside, 98A. I'm inclined to start working down from the top now. So Castle Ward is 41A. We're going to proceed directly over there, and it's nominally not far away. So let's just head right on over. The walls of Castle Waterdeep, in the heart of the Castle Ward, soar upward 400 feet at their highest point, and the beautiful towers rise many stories above them. They could be as light as smoke or sea foam, for all the impression of weight they give. Yet the impregnable castle walls are as thick as the height of 10 men lying head to toe, and honeycombed with rooms and passages. The fortress, indomitable in battle, also hosts ceremonies of pomp and regalia, starring the diplomats of many lands. Castle Ward is the center of Waterdeep's cultural and social life. Here are half a dozen guild halls, the tower of Archmage Kelvin Blackstaff Aronson, studios of master artisans, theaters, nightclubs, temples, barracks, and stables for the city guard and city watch, and the impenetrable tower of Argarian, which undoubtedly will foil even the undead army's efforts to enter. And there is Perigion's palace. The palace is the many-spired home of Waterdeep's commander, chief diplomat, overmaster of the guilds, and speaker for the secret lords who rule the city. A fitting residence for a man of such greatness, it is remarkable to think the effluvian must have brought even Perigion low, or perhaps he has been diverted from the city by some stratagem of the liches. So many places. You could spend 100 days investigating all that might be of help. In desperation, you must rely on the Serpicule. It sniffs out just 3 places of interest. Using criteria only it knows, a duty guardhouse in one of the towers flanking the gate of Castle Waterdeep, the library of Perigion's Palace, 38A, And of all places, an obscure theater not far from the castle, 42A. There seems to be at least one piece of the staff amongst them, and the head suspects more. Why not Blackstaff's Tower or one of the other power centers of the city? Perhaps the undead clean those out first. If these areas sound unpromising, return to 82A and choose again. Now, it is important that we make choices because we have already used 2 of our 24 hours for searching. So, changing districts takes time, and thorough investigation takes time too. So, but sometimes it pays off, as we saw previously. Otherwise, we wouldn't. Just to bring anyone who may have taken a break, we have at currently 2 memory traces on trace A. We have 1 evidence box ticked, and we have 1 piece of the staff of Waterdeep, the dragon's tooth, which we found at the taxidermy shop, which is where we just were. I think I will start with, theater at 42A is just around the corner here. Let's go there. Well, we have some art from G Bar. We have a jester's hat with a, grin. Some gloves, some objects. We have like a dagger here and some jester doll heads and 1, 2, 3 torches, 1, 2, 3 pins. And 1, 2, 3 jester heads. So we're juggling 9 things or 3 sets of 3 plus a dagger. Oh, and a ring. Yes, there's a ring there. This theater, on one of the most fashionable avenues of the castle ward, seems to have closed down long before the effluvium arrived. A handmade sign on the door, lettered in a hurry by the looks of it, says, "Closed until further notice. We apologize for inconvenience. We are working to resolve the problem." Under the printed notice, some wag has written, "The ghost chased away the good spellers." Fair enough. But apparently there's a ghost. You push through the doors unlocked and walk through the plush, gilt-edged lobby. In the theater, you gaze up at the ceiling, lighted by a simple spell of continual light, and then down at the stage. If you have been to the theater before this adventure, stop reading here and go immediately to 65G. If this is your first time you've been here in this adventure, keep reading. Well, it is. Amid the clouds of effluvium that drift in and out through the walls, a performing phantom of some kind plays to an empty house. Only head and hands are visible, along with a dizzying world of material objects. Clubs, torches, and more than you can easily follow. A voice sounds in your mind, the telepathy of the undead. Then the worm sticks out its head and says, "Where's my cookie?" Wham! Hey, come on. That's a surefire laughter. Okay, knock, knock. It's telling jokes. Amazingly lame ones, too. No wonder the theater closed down. Probably no cleric could cast a spell of exorcism before these horrendous clunkers laid them low. The Cerbicule sniffs and says, "Magic, yeah." Not much news in that remark, but perhaps the props and the ghostly showman are juggling are worth investigation. However, you can't look at them until you get the ghost to stop moving them around. Will you talk to the haunt, 40A, attack it, 74B, or leave, 64E? Well, we're not going to just turn around and leave. I could attack it. And that would be our first use of the combat mechanics in the game. Because we have Memory Trace A, we have certain combat abilities, and Memory Trace B is actually the better combatant, honestly. So on memory trace A, if we basically just roll the dice to attack the monster, and every time we fail to hit it, it strikes back basically. Um, trace A does hits on a roll of 8 or less on the D12, and does 7 points of damage with each strike. And you have 40 unlife points as memory trace A. So, there is a risk. You could be defeated in the end. It's like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hits. 7 and less doesn't. So the odds are not in your favor because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 misses, right? Uh, it's not a 50-50 per se, but uh, it's not the worst chance in the world to hit. Uh, there's a chart at the back of the book showing the combat table, and you'd look up the encounter for the fight, which it would describe if we go to 74B, right? Um, do I want to kill this thing, or do I want to try talking to it? I think, as a paladin type person, and since it does seem to be able to communicate, I will try talking to it. Not that I know what this is actually going to do. Maybe I'm going to end up fighting it anyway, which is, it's fine. 40A is not far away anyway. 40A. You venture down to the edge of the stage. The clubs, bean bags, and other objects perform amazing gyrations. They twist in the air, float up high, drift down, hover like hummingbirds. Some fly up behind the ghostly jester's cap. For the living body, these would have been throws behind the back. Friend spirit, you begin, can you tell me? Hey, listen to this, the haunt interrupts. How do you tell when an orc's been visiting the dog pound? I know not, but he's licking his lips, yowza. Licking his lips. When the ghoul applied to join the army, why wouldn't they let him in? Really, he thought it was a smorgasbord. The objects continue their steady cascade. You out there, you know Smorgasbord, a place where you can eat all you. Hey, these are the jokes, folks. What is this, an audience or a wax gallery?
No self-respecting waxwork would stay for this.
The weasel comments, but the juggling haunt doesn't hear it. Yo, the ectoplasmic funnyman continues. Hear about the gargoyle with the disgusting personal problem? Gravel. Hey, you people deaf? Gravel. Hey-o. You can think of no greater deed than wiping this menace from the landscape of stand-up comedy. Attack at 74B. But the ghostly wisecracker may yet tell you something worthwhile. Will you bear up under its routine and try to laugh? If so, go to 117A. Or you may ask the ghost to stop the routine, 131B, or make the weasel very happy and leave, 64E. Another approach is to ask the immaterial comedian to comment on recent events, a long-standing tradition among comics. If you can endure the wit that may pour forth, you may ask about the staff of Waterdeep, the other undead wandering the city. So the staff was 89A. The undead is 158B. Or life in show business, 113B. Oh, such choices. Oh. I'm increasingly liking the prospect of removing this blot from comedy, but we're not going to just leave. I don't see much point in trying to ask it to stop its routine, but there is the point of trying to ask it about current events, which not a terrible idea. Let's try it. 89A. 89A. Friend, do you know the staff of Waterdeep? Funny thing happened on my way to the theater, says the phantasmal fun maker. Guy asked me, how can I get the staff of Waterdeep? I tell him, invite them over for a party and they'll do anything for you. And get it? Staff? Like an office staff? But seriously, folks, it continues, those pieces of the staff do get around, don't they? I was juggling yesterday and wham! In through the door of the theater flies this wooden stick. Whoa, I says, I've heard of letting the chips fall where they may, but this is ridiculous. Turns out to be a piece of the staff of Waterdeep, and let me tell you, folks, as a juggling club, it ain't bad. You might say, I can't keep my hands off of it. Yowza! Ghostly hands brandish one of the wooden clubs between them. It seems to flicker. One moment, a club, the next, a short wooden dowel. Staff of Waterdeep, says the Therapicule, disguised with illusion. You must have that piece of the staff. But the spectral monologist is still cascading it with his other objects. How will you try to get the wooden piece? Will you A. Attack the Jester, 74B. Ask it to stop juggling, 131B. Try to bribe it, 93B. Or just wait, trying to get on its good side by laughing at its jokes, 117A. Well, it's undead. It's a phantasm. It's not going to ever stop, is my feeling. It was doing this before we ever entered, and it's going to keep doing it if we just leave it here. I don't have anything to really trade with it. Because my natural thought is actually maybe we could slip something else in and he can exchange something out of his juggling routine. But what? I don't have anything. Asking it to stop juggling seems like the relatively lawful thing to do. And if it doesn't, I suppose then I can resort to attacking the Jester, right? Right. So, 131B. 131B. Excuse me, you say to the juggler, might I have a word with you? Don't bother me, fellow, I'm on, says the voice. Very happy to be here, folks. I just got back from a flying carpet ride. It's hard to flap when you're holding a rug. Hey-o! Want to buy a kobold? There is no one to hear you, but I, friend Ghost, could you perhaps... You're getting on my nerves, buddy. I almost got him on my side now, and you're queering the pitch. There's no one here, you shout. The floating hands catch the cascading objects one by one. The cap turns toward you, and the disembodied smile is gone. Cap turns slowly to review the whole theater, row upon row of empty seats. Then, without warning, the haunt and its possessions vanish. You expect the weasel to offer a sarcastic comment, but your subconscious mind need not belabor so obvious a mistake. Now you cannot investigate anything but the stage and seats. Then you must leave. Well, I doubt there's two pieces of the staff of Waterdeep here with the juggler. He just left with it. To who knows where. Great. Well, might as well read about the theater. 68C. 68C. The stage is bare wooden planking. The wings and curtain and back conceal a variety of theatrical props, furniture, fake greenery, fake weapons, piles of costumes, and so on. You find nothing useful. The space around the stage provides standing room for the groundlings who cannot afford high admission. Serried rows of hard wooden seats elevate above the groundling levels around the stage on three sides, the conventional arrangement in Waterdeep. You spot a few crumpled programs beneath the seats detailing a production you have never heard of. You think you never knew much about the theater, only about battle and worship and now death. All at once you feel very tired.
Mope on, Sir Knight,
says the weasel.
Melodrama suits your surroundings.
You are wasting time. Return to 42A to investigate something else, providing the haunt isn't juggling it. Or leave 64E. Well, it's gone. We're not going to cheat. We're not going to play wrong. We flubbed that one by trying to own up to our principles. So, so be it. 64E. Near the theater are the glorious Palace of Perigon, 38A, and Indomitable Castle Waterdeep, 32A. Since they are both in this ward, each just takes a half hour's investigation time, or you may go to 82A to go elsewhere in Waterdeep. In fact, we need to mark off a half hour for the time we spent with the juggler. Well, this is a good piece. It even has art. So, uh, yes, we'll leave the episode here. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I hope the day sees you well. Ha- Goodbye.